48%. Well, there you go. So the League of Women Voters Education Fund at a national level provides such a resource. And to all the voters throughout the United States, every race, every state is covered. Yeah, it's insane. All Coloradoan candidates and ballot issues can be found easily on our voter guide at Vote 411, starting on, drum roll, October 3rd. October 3rd.
Yay.
So when is Vote 411 voter guide going live?
October 3rd.
Now, your local league can go live earlier if they're ready, but the statewide, the federal offices, all the judges, all the regents, all the Board of Education, all the Colorado legislature are not going live until October 3rd. Now, keep in mind, vote411.org is live. If you went in there right now, you would find a mega amount of information. You would find national polling place locations, if they're up yet. A lot of county clerks haven't posted them yet. Online voter guide, our voter registration tool, where the person puts in their email address, their state, pulls up a voter form, fills it out. ID requirements, ballot measure information will be on there once we go live. Early voting options, how to be a poll watcher, it's like how to do overseas military voting. It's a wealth of information in vote411.org currently. It's like all the election information is there. The voter guide that compares candidates side by side and all the ballot issue measures will be there starting on October 3rd. You got it, Beth? Thanks.
And I'd just like to say that Vote 411 is my favorite voter registration tool because it doesn't require you to be a certified, registrant. Just walk around wearing your "I can register you to vote" t-shirt. And when people say, "Can you help me register to vote?" say, "Sure, pull out your phone, go to Vote 411," and they're registering themselves. Yes. So no certification is needed.
But the only thing you got to make sure they have a smartphone.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because we don't have
Yeah.
any
Yeah, or a tablet,
smartphone.
or internet access wherever they are, in a cafe or wherever. But the big thing that I have found with voter registrations lately is, number one, people will not use a strange computer to put their info in.
Right.
They don't trust it. So if you can do it on their device, they're much more apt to do it. GoVoteColorado.gov is another excellent way to register, or to verify your registration, change your political party, or to change an address. You can pull up your voter registration and check that out. But back to Vote 411 for right now. So candidate questions and guidelines. The state board approves all the candidate questions that we ask on Vote 411. But let me tell you, there's some really strict guidelines. And the reason for that is, well, a couple of things. Our reputation, number one, that if a candidate perceives that we are biased in any way, or a voter, why would they even come? And over 10 million people countrywide have used Vote 411 through 2022 or 2021. Well, 2022, I should say, because we had spring elections in 2022. Over 6 million people in Colorado have used Vote 411 since its inception in 2006. And over 1.5 voters went to 2020 in Colorado to Vote 411. So they've seen that we're not biased. They're seeing that we're asking questions that are open-ended, that are not zingers, that don't try to pit people against people. We're trying to get and give the candidates room to talk about anything they need to, what their messaging is. So we ask broader questions instead of the yes or no. Are you for this or are you against it? Like most organizations do because they have an agenda.
Mhm.
The other aspect of the questions is we also get a huge amount of grants from Google. If you Google voter guide, voter information, or election information, Vote 411 will be the first thing that comes up on your search.
Good.
Yeah. We also are a header on Target. Once it goes live nationwide on Target, if you went online to shop at Target, you'll see a red banner come across that'll say, need voter information? Go to Vote 411. We get all these grants from all these corporations, from all these entities to be there and non-political, non-partisan, excuse me, we are political,
Mhm.
nonpartisan. So the grant from Google, we lost in 2010 because of the questions that a local league put in Vote 411. Yeah, we lost $40,000 that year
Oh,
because of one question. So you think I'm anal about questions? Yeah, I got a good reason. So I love a good question. I love that they're open. Instead of asking, are you for concealed gun permits? I ask a question about what steps, if any, would you support to curb gun violence?
Yeah.
That way they can talk about security in the home with a locked gun trigger. They can talk about only 18-year-olds buying guns instead of 21. You know, like they can go anywhere with that. They can talk about mental health. So questions, they're a sticky point with me, as you all well know, and I'm sorry I'm dirging. Barb, cut me off when you're ready.
Okay, well, no, I'm just waiting for you to move on to, we're going to cover questions again in candidate forums, I think. So
Yeah, let me share.
you had some PR or
Yeah,
PR
let me share
things
this.
that you wanted to share.
Yeah, can you guys see this Vote 411
Mhm.
big logo? You see this website, lwv.org/vote411 messaging?
Mhm.
Okay. This will be updated after the 31st. Right now, this is what it looks like. And it's got all these links to logos, messaging, templates, sample texts for social media, everything you ever wanted to display about Vote 411. This is being updated on August 31st. You might know about an August 31st training session that's going on
It's 31st track section
Mhm.
for folks.
about Facebook and Instagram for Vote 411. If anyone needs that, I'll put that in the chat after the registration. I'll put it in the chat. And then on the 1st, they're going to continue with the rest of the messaging. But it's 2 training sessions that National is holding about their new program. And it's run by a woman out of Wyoming that has done an excellent job of promoting Vote 411 around the country, but also in Wyoming. So, and she's on the staff. It's Whitney from National Vote 411 team. Questions?
And I was just gonna kind of follow up and mention, most leagues have a separate Vote 411 coordinator. There's a lot of responsibilities and time needed, and it's really hard to be a voter service chair or coordinator and do Vote 411. But it's really important to us that every league have a Vote 411 coordinator because of the local election information that we are now including on that website. So, okay, moving right. Are you done, Kath? Or you?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to those Vote 411 coordinators. It's simple, but it's not easy,
Right.
if that makes any sense.
And it's
But
a lot of work.
really simple.
They help follow up with getting information from local candidates to get them to answer questions.
Well, that's where you leverage your whole team. Like
Right.
I leverage every single leaguer I know on the face of the earth.
I
So,
know. I
yeah.
know you do. Okay, thanks, Kath. We want to move on to candidate forums and
Right, can I
perhaps
ask a
answer.
question real quick?
Sure, Shelley, go ahead.
Sam, thank you. Kath, this is a midterm election. What was our percentage of turnout on a statewide level with regards to percentage in 2018 of candidate participation?
I'd have to look it up. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I'll look it up and I'll put it in the chat.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, any other questions? First of all, with the candidate forums, I know everybody's really, really, really busy doing them, and you're doing a lot of them, so thank you very much. And we're even getting brave to start doing some of the federal congressional district races. Some are having an easier time than others, but we'll move on. And first, I'd like Beth to share with us what she is doing and how her staff is helping assist those of us in our local leagues with the different candidate forums we're doing. And if you have any questions of her. Beth?
Thank you, Barb. At the state level, we are doing some of our own candidate forums for Governor, Secretary of State, Michael Bennett's seat, Treasurer, AG. But to support you all in your candidate forums, please, let us know that you're doing them so that we can be sure they're on the state calendar. If they're on the state calendar, that means they will go out in our weekly email blasts. We are also creating a web page specifically for candidate forums. So please send us that your information and help us populate this page. Of course, we are offering Zoom webinar capabilities. Anyone is welcome to use those. They're really expensive. And so we are putting off, and Zoom lets you buy it a month at a time. And for instance, to get webinar capacity for 3,000 to 5,000 people, it's going to be in the thousands of dollar range. So we're trying to put off the purchase until we can kind of cram as many forums into one period as possible. This is why we haven't sent out any actual links yet to candidate forums, but we will be sure you have the link to your specific webinar at least 2 weeks in advance. We will promote your candidate forums again through our emailings and through our social media. Let's see, what else?
Didn't you say too that if they needed technical assistance, a staff person would help?
Absolutely. If you're using the state league's Zoom, we'll be on there to help you.
Okay.
So just know that we'll have somebody there for you.
Okay, thanks, Rebecca. Well, see you later. Gwen asked, what is the best way to give the State League information on our local candidate forums? How do you want them to do that?
Email either me. I put my email in the chat earlier, but I'll do it again.
Okay.
Or our operations manager, Hannah. She can be reached at info@lwvcolorado.org. I'll put both of these in the chat.
Does the staff know how to create breakout rooms for the Zoom forums?
Well, I hesitate to say yes if any of you were at our annual meeting. But we will make sure that we get that figured out if that's something that you need to do. Candidate forums for breakout rooms? I'm curious as to how that would
how
work.
are you going to use that?
Deb?
Well, let me make sure I'm using the right word. So we, on live forums, and live events, we use candidating as the, right?
Mhm.
But you'd have to have breakout rooms if you wanted to do that candidating type style event on Zoom.
That is true. And we could work that out. We would just need some, information beforehand during the registration process.
Like, as an example of information you might need, would it look like which are the candidates that don't change rooms and the people that do change rooms, so that
Yes.
your technical support. Okay, great, thanks.
But just give me a call, Grace, and we can, talk through some of the details there.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah. Well, that I'll be interested to see how that should be a challenging
Yeah.
format to do for a candidate forum. But Deb,
Yeah, I had two things. Can the Zoom webinars be used for hybrid events? We're considering doing some events that are live, but can also be live streamed, basically, especially with Mesa County, since it's a little spread out. Is that a capability that our Zoom webinar function has?
Yes, but it's also more about how your camera
mhm.
works.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of a technological question more than a Zoom question.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And I'll just say we use some of our grant monies here in really well to buy what's called an owl.
Mhm.
So we took it with us so we could Zoom and do our candidate forums out in the public where they didn't have those kinds of access to
Right.
facilities for us. So you really do need the equipment to be able to do it. I've seen it was done really well when the group was going around the redistricting commissions. They did an excellent job with doing hybrid meetings, but they also had a lot of high powered technology helping them out. But
And the other thing was, I just wanted to mention a resource that people may be aware of. CU has an outreach division / branch that tries to pair CU faculty expertise with needs in the community. And they have a professor named Leah Sprain in the communications department, who just gave this amazing presentation. Were you there, Beth, for the CD3 meeting yesterday?
I wasn't, but I've heard about
Oh
this
my gosh.
Professor Sprain.
Yeah, so she is available to help with many kinds of communication things, and she's paid by CU to do this. But in particular, she gave a presentation yesterday on how to develop questions for forums to maximize the chance that you get an actual answer out of the candidate, as opposed to them going into their, canned spiel for whatever the question is, and also how to set it up so that you ask a question in the way that is going to allow you to get information that is of use for the mission of the League of Women Voters, but also keep it nonpartisan. So if people are interested, I can
maybe we should even think about getting her and having her do a program.
Absolutely.
So
she is available to do programs and has the ability to kind of take the League's forum presence to kind of world class. So
okay, why don't you send Beth that name and information?
Okay.
Please.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Shelley.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I'm not sure who mentioned it just a minute ago. Candidating. Can you tell me what that is? I don't know what that is. Thank you.
Well, basically, it's like speed dating with candidates, I guess. You have different tables with candidates at them, and you can set up. They can do a presentation and tell them everybody a little bit about themselves. But then they are assigned them a table, and then you can go listen to candidates, and you give them a time limit, maybe 4 minutes or something, and then everybody gets up and visits other candidates to listen to them and just have a conversation and ask them questions at the table.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's brief. Who's the ones who's doing candidating?
Chafee.
I know Chafee's really good at
Mhm.
doing that. So maybe you can get email Shelley and from Grace, and because they got a whole format that they've been very successful at doing over the years. So
I believe we have some information from Chafee on candidating in our voter service resources.
okay, we might have it. I
which
don't
we're gonna
remember it,
talk
but
about.
sure. So good deal. All right, I want to keep moving along because I don't know what happened to the time. But anyway, I was going to ask people what forums they're doing, but I'm just going to have you, if you have time, to put them in the chat so we can all see, what your plans are and what you're doing, whether it's local, state, House district, state or Senate districts, or CD districts, just to get an idea. So if you do that and share it in the chat, then we'd have a better idea of what everybody's doing. Besides, we do have a calendar, but I just thought it'd be fun to share and have people look at, but I don't want to take time to have everybody share out right now. I did want to mention, people are, a big part of the forum is developing this list of procedures and protocols. Back in my day, we used to call them ground rules, but I think procedures and protocols sounds pretty classy. But anyway, there's some conversation, there's things I've come across my computer and emails as everybody's doing things. And I also sat in on a candidate forum training at Jeffco, but we had some interesting conversations and just to kind of highlight some things that people are doing and you may or may have a choice on. And a lot of leagues are asking, for public input on their candidate forum. And I've been old school for a long time, but that's new to me. I think it's a good idea. I think if part of your procedures and protocols should be that the people that are asking questions are part of that district that you're going to have the forum for. I don't know how you control for that. So maybe it's people who have done it can help share what that is. But definitely there needs to be a go-to person that gets that information. There needs to be a deadline by which those are submitted. And I was reading through one set of protocols where they had a panel of people from different parties reviewing the questions. And I thought, well, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Usually we have had a question panel who sorts through the questions for their appropriateness and whether or not they're relevant to the situation and appropriate to the candidates, all candidates, not directed at just one candidate. But I thought having, multi-parties on a team of people who are screening questions might be a good idea. So you can choose whether that's your route, whether you want to do that or you have the capacity to do it. But that's really up to you and the groups, your own leagues and what you want to do. There isn't a must or should do on that. I don't know if anybody has any questions on that particular procedure or comment. So I just want to put that out there. I don't see any hands up right now.
I'm
Maybe-
waving mine. Barb,
Oh, where?
sorry, Juliet here.
Yes,
So when you say parties, do you mean the partisan parties or just
partisan parties.
you would let the Democrats and the Republicans review the questions in advance?
That's what this one league is doing. Yes.
Okay,
I just thought I have never done that,
yeah.
but I just thought I'd throw that out there as a consideration. I think it's the CD3 people who have done that. So maybe you can contact them. I would like to know more about it and how they're doing it. and facilitating, but I thought it was an interesting idea.
Didn't they do that for part of their questions, but not all
Oh,
of them?
not all of them, just, yeah, part of
Right.
them. I agree. I
Right.
agree, Kathy.
All right.
Uh,
Thank-
Another part is, do you want to share your questions with your candidates ahead of time or not at all? They have to respond to the questions you ask. I will say mostly in the forums I've been involved with, we usually ask general questions. There's a lot of, there's specific ones, but there's general ones where we ask candidates to give us their priorities and how they think they're going to accomplish them. But then there's some broad-based questions like, what do you think are your priorities for the city? So there's some self-selecting in it. The other part is that they're broad-based, or maybe there's something like, what are your critical issues in your house district, your division, and what do you want to do? So, and we have asked them what their positions are on ballot issues locally.
Chat being copied.
So anyway, there was quite a discussion, and there's a philosophical difference and how people feel about it. But I think it's something for you to consider. And then there's other people that like to have the candidates have their questions so they feel prepared, except for the ones that come in from the audience. Yes, Grace.
I put it in the chat.
Okay.
I put it in the chat, but this is really why I'm here, and I'm really have a lot of angst about this, which is if anybody has any input. So we're talking about forums and we're talking about getting people invited to these things. And I have 2 for the House and 2 for the Senate, and they are all booked. That we gave them 4 dates and they are all booked because we now have competition. We have I think it's called Club 20. And then we have an
really?
organization here called the Chaffee County Patriots that are claiming that they are a nonpartisan, non-political organization that is hosting events and inviting candidates. So because there's a transition from me to Scott might have gotten to it faster, but we didn't get out there right after the end of the primaries. And so I'm kind of behind the league or behind the ball. If anybody has any thoughts about how to either collaborate or cooperate or provide other ideas about how to get these people booked, particularly for the House and Senate, I would really appreciate any thoughts.
Well, Grace, LWVCO is a paying member of Club 20.
Okay.
Would you be interested in calling them and just saying, hi, let's partner on this?
Yes, that would be great. I would be very, very happy to do that.
Great.
I'm all for diving straight in the deep end of the pool.
Sure.
And if anybody has any thoughts on the Chaffee County Patriots, that would be helpful too.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's a little more complicated.
I don't know much about them, so I'm not going to go there. But Deb, your thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to mention 2 things. Club 20, Club 20 for Mesa, Club 20 is presenting their all-day forum with all the candidates on September 9th and 10th. And that is completely set up. I don't know if they have kind of outlier things, but our treasurer, Deb Kalish, K-A-L-I-S-H, I'll put her name in, is kind of liaisoning with Club 20 and our chapter. So she might be a good resource if you want to get some inside information about what's going on with Club 20 and how do I use this to my advantage. So I'll put her name in the chat, and if you have trouble finding her email, somebody can help you. The other thing regarding dates is I wonder if you guys have tried, saying to the candidates that you would like to invite, could you give me 3 dates that you're available? And then see if you've got any matches, So that's it.
Okay.
And one thing, actually, Kath and I were talking a while back or a week ago, last week or something. And they had done a candidate forum during the day and taped it and shown it. So you're not always locked into a live time. You might want to find some time on a Saturday afternoon or a Saturday morning, see if they're available. Do the candidate forum, tape it, and produce it, and then schedule it for an evening that you're available. I mean, all you have to do is show it. Kath, help them out.
Yeah. It's just recording a Zoom meeting, and the Zoom meeting is just with the candidates and the moderator and a techie person and a timekeeper. So all you need is 4 people in the room, or
Okay.
candidates you have. And we're recording all of ours. Rebecca can talk more about that from Jeffco. And then we post it on our YouTube channel. We also, with Vote 411, hun, all the videos, all the live events get posted on Vote 411. So when you put in your address, all the forums in your area come up.
Okay, thanks, Barb. Oh, and thanks, Kath. Any other, I don't know, I think that's the best one because I understand the angst. I understand the tight scheduling that everybody's on and trying to get so many people in one place, but maybe you can try some things out of the ordinary schedule and see if you can pull people and do something like that. Are there any other burning questions about candidate forums that we can help with?
We do have lots of resources in LWVCO's document library.
Right.
If you sign in as a member and go to the documents drop down,
Right.
go to voter service resources, be sure to click the file folder so that you'll see all the subfolders. But there are also 9 documents right in here as well.
Sure.
There's 10 documents on candidate forums.
And I will say that one, well, certainly the Texas one, the La Plata one has plenty of information on how to run candidate forums. That candidate participation policy talks about an open chair. If for some reason if someone doesn't show up or you can't get a hold of someone, it outlines what that policy is and when you can hold a candidate forum without all the candidates being there. Everybody usually should have everyone should have an opportunity to send an opening and closing statement that can be read within the time limits that other candidates have. But that doesn't necessarily tie you down and cause you to cancel a candidate forum. So please look that over. If you have any questions, get back to me. But yes, and take some time and kind of cruise through there. The other thing I wanted to point out, Beth, and we can do that now, is people have asked me about publications and they're going like, I can't find Your Voice, Your Vote. Well, it's in publications. It's not in voter service. So you have to go to that folder to get it. You'll also see, I think, in publications, you'll see that there's ballot issue. Where are the ballot issues? They're in some place too. There's all the ballot issue information that will be loaded up there too. So it's under publications. It's not under voter service, but clearly you can see Your Voice, Your Vote. If you click on that, there's 2 of those pamphlets and they're PDFs and they're one's in Spanish and one's in English. So take some time. If we have some time, I'll tell you where I found out how you can get around voter service things at the national website. But anyway, one other thing, I was just keeping candidates ahead of time, making sure those are some of the things I wanted to at least say, that you have some decisions on how you want to do some of these things. But my word of advice to you, if you make a decision, like you answer the questions or don't answer the questions, send them questions or not, do be consistent within the leagues or the leagues that you're partnering with. Don't do one thing for one candidate forum and not another. Do it consistently for all the ones that you sponsor and hold. All right, I think I'll keep moving and go to the information about the state ballot measures, and Kathy has an announcement or something she wants to ask. So Beth, a little bit information on what's going on and how they're going to get a hold of ballot measures for the fall.
Great. Kathy, did you want to go or did you want me to start?
I was gonna, if you know about this, the only thing I know about the ballot measures is that Jerry Cummins needs to get them to the printer on September 1.
No, well,
No, is it changed? Okay,
she's getting him to the office.
okay,
So, yes, there are going to be 10 ballot measures on the ballot, on the state ballot. We've got volunteers researching and peer reviewing those right now. And we sent last week an email asking voter services folks at local leagues how many ballot issue pamphlets you want in English and Spanish, because nobody seemed to get that email. We sent it again today. But we do need to know in the next week how many printed pamphlets you would like. We are looking at keeping them below 15 cents a copy. But we will be in good touch about that once we're a little more sure exactly how long the pamphlet is going to be. We will also, of course, be distributing PDFs of ballot issues, infographics, and videos in English and Spanish. I
Yep.
think
So
that's
if you're not the point person for your league, at least check with your voter service coordinator or your chair, whoever gets the voter service emails, and tell them that we've sent out a request for your order and it's due September 7th.
Mhm.
So you have some time, but not a lot, to get those orders in. And kind of, what did you say, 15 cents? You're going to try to keep it around 15 cents
hopefully less.
less.
Barbara,
So-
can I ask a question?
Yes.
Do we have a list of all the league voter service person per league? So I could start calling them and getting in contact with them to see what's the holdup.
Great. Yeah, we just, great. I'll talk to you about that
Okay.
probably early next week.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. Questions on that? So little Kathy, your ask.
yeah, I have a great big ask for you. Great, big, hopeful ask. Jerry Cummins is retiring from coordinating the ballot issues. And Tony Larson has retired from doing the ballot issues now. And I'm asking you because you are the people with all of the experience around this. If one or two of you can come forward, because I think co-directors from this can work really well. If you'd come forward and volunteer to be the coordinators next year for this effort, please consider it strongly. I will put my email in the chat, and if you have questions, let me know. But we would absolutely love your expertise working on
Not to
it.
mention provide lots of support and
Yes,
give you everything you need. What's nice about it is that it's a relatively short-term job,
right.
and job in air quotes.
And there are there are documents in our document file on the website that can really help you lead people who have volunteered to be the point person for each one of the ballot initiatives. So, it's not like you're starting from scratch at all with this. You will get help. So please, please, please consider it strongly. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Kathy. There was a question from Juliet about whether local leagues can brand the ballot issue pamphlets for their local league or business.
Yeah.
We used to be able to do that, but I don't know that we do anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that. If anybody. Okay, Julie wants to know. Julie, let me get back with you on that.
At one time, lots of times we got money from sponsors like the US Bank or something. And if they gave us their logo, we would send it to ahead of time and people would put it on our ballot issues locally. But we had to coordinate with the state to make sure we got things there in a timely way so I could get to the
Mhm.
printer.
That's the money.
But it was a good way because people gave us money to help buy ballot issues, ballot pamphlets, and they liked the advertising that they got for supporting us. Information on Making Democracy Works Day, just make sure, for a long time we were promoting it to be on Saturday the 24th of September, and there was a conflict with some women's marches and things. So we moved it to Friday evening. I think, is it 5 to 7:30?
Yes.
Yes. So Beth, any more details, and I'm sure it'll be up on the state website calendar so people can register, but.
Yes, so we are, here's a look at the agenda as it stands right now. Barb and I are still kind of talking about this and how we can make this work, add more voter services info to Making Democracy Work. So we'll be in touch about that. But it's actually 5 to 7:30.
Yeah, and I did the poll watcher, the lady who does training for poll watchers, she was able to do that. I haven't, the
Great.
rides to poll person, I haven't heard back from yet.
Okay, great. So we're looking to give you some good information on ballot issues as well as some good voter service stuff and advocacy. So trying to hit all the points here. As Barb said, we did move it to Friday night instead of Saturday morning so that folks could participate in the Women's March. It's a pretty big deal, not just in Denver, but in communities around Colorado and the nation. And we know that leaguers like to march. So we will be opening the state office at 8 o'clock on Saturday, the 24th. For coffee and donuts and sign making for anybody who would like to come to march in the Denver Women's March. Of course, this year there is the theme is around reproductive justice.
Okay. Beth, do you have a minute to pull up the LWV US website? I have one quick thing I'd like to do before we say goodnight. And I don't know if there's any questions.
Oh, did you want? I have your 2 links that you wanted to share, Barb. Is that?
Well, I think this will be better.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, one of the 2 links was if you go now, this is the national website. If you go all the way down to league management, I think is the little button down there.
Sorry for the vertigo.
Yeah, boy, that's a long way down there.
Yeah.
There's league management button. It's clear at the bottom. So if you click on that, you'll see up at the top band, there's like Making Democracy Works, communications, operations, so forth. Go back to Making Democracy Works. See, voter services advocacy. Click on voter services and that will take you to all the documents related to voter service. I've been looking for those for 5 years. And somehow I found it by mistake. And then I was like, well, that's a duh. And it's because I was looking for links to some of the articles I was using, but rather than share the links with you, I thought I would just share that this is the easy way to find out where all the voter service information is without trying to kill yourself looking through around the site. Kath, do you have any other? You have some other helpers too, but you can see there's information about Vote 411. There's about 5 pages of resources, but I thought, why, what did I think? And they did, if you were like under league growth and stuff is like the stuff for DEI and, but at least I think they finally figured out a way to keep things easy so we could find that information without trying to spend hours looking for stuff. But that's my new discovery. But any final questions or words of advice for moving forward? Thank you all for being here tonight. And truly, we appreciate all the work and time and efforts that you are putting into voter services, because we got to get these people out to vote. And I am a little concerned that people are a little leery about getting, participating and stuff. So they're really going to need some accurate information and support about the security of our elections and information so they can do what they need to do. But thank you for me and all the people that help with the staff, Kath, Action and Advocacy. Everybody's playing a role to make it happen and to help support all of you. So with that, I'll say good night.
Good night, Barb. Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.